Whew. All right. So, ladies, today what we're going to talk about, which once again, it is fantastically, divinely aligned. The subject has to do with actively receiving that which you desire. So I encourage you to take a couple notes along the way for those of you that are listening to this on a replay. If you're driving, take notes later. But tune in and remember the ahas. So actively receiving that which you desire, there's a lot of component parts in that very specific, simple sentence. So I've shared before that my word of the year is receiving. And for those of you that, we're connecting here for the first time, most of the women that I tend to align with, I love to be with. We've had this very high, strong, masculine, get it done. We are these women warrior, salt of the earth kind of people, which has been great and is great until you're ready to grow. And sometimes we can get in our own way because we're always so well in the zone of doing. We're the people other people turn to get things done because we know how to get things done. But here's the challenge and here's the problem with always doing, right? When you give, do, it can be depleting. It depletes our energy. It takes energy and strength mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually, financially. It takes energy and strength to always be in that forward motion. When you think about your car, even your car needs to be refueled. If you're driving, you've got a full tank of gas and you're always going, right? You can go for hours, but then you have to refuel. So it's interesting. We take care of our vehicles that way, but we don't always take the time to take care of ourselves. And so action is really important. Motion, movement, motion. We know that we are energetic beings and everything around us is always motion. Even the desk that I'm sitting at right now, this is, for some of you, this may be the first time you've really, I invite you to wrap your mind around this, but even the molecules that make up our solid desk are actually in motion. There's an energy to it, right? So energy equates to life. When we have energy, we're living. And so my heart is to help you thrive and have vitality. Vitality is above and beyond health. So being active is important in creating momentum, keeping momentum going. But here's the thing, ladies, even when we're sleeping, when we are at rest, the our inner part is still actively functioning. So we don't always have to be in push, get it done mode. We can be in rest mode and still have action. So why this is important is that I'm just reminding those of you I've been working with for a while and those of you who are new here today, sometimes, at least for my women, and this is me too, right? This has been part of my growth journey. Sometimes when we've been such dynamic, kick-ass, get-it-done women, it's because it's actually a cover-up for sabotaging beliefs, okay? So part of what we talk about here in Brand You, and we're talking about in the Rock Your Brand program, and I work with my clients on this inner level, is how to get to that. How do we learn to let go? And first of all, we have to identify, right? What we're going to identify the tells of when do we have a subconscious sabotaging belief surfacing? When is it getting in the way so that we can clear it? You've all heard me say sometimes we need to clean our way in before we can clean our way out, right? So that's part of what I'm talking about, is the awareness of actively receiving that which you desire. So let me state clearly, action is important. But even when you are what appears to be at rest, AKA receiving, we can still have action in receiving. So let's think about this. Receiving, when my word of the year came to me, I actually had a big inner conflict with it. I really struggled with it because it didn't at first blush, it didn't strike me as get it done, trailblazing. But boy, does it require a very different type of energy to actively, consistently allow myself to receive. So I want you to think about you for a moment. A lot of the women that I work with, we all say the same thing. I'm great at giving, man, I'm not so good at receiving, right? Because many times it's what we have in common is in our past. We didn't get the love. That's foreign to us. It's unusual. Maybe we didn't get the verbal support, the loving support, the touching support. When it comes around money, we've got our money stories, you know. Do we actively, confidently receive money on a regular basis? That may be where you're going. It may not be what has been, right? So when we're talking about actively receiving, I'd like to invite you to think about a football game. Okay. Now I'm not a football expert. When the football game comes on, I tend to grab and go grab a book. I was very ingrained through growing up that when the football games were on, usually on the weekends, I was working for my parents, and all the clients, when the football games were on, they had their beverage, they had their food, and I could finally go get homework done. So that's a pattern for me, right? So I may get some of this a little wrong, but you'll get the concept. So you've got one person that's going to throw the ball, one person that's going to catch the ball. That's so simple, right? So sometimes to actively receive the ball, which that's the intention of the game. You've got the quarterback. He's going to pass the ball to the next player, right? Because we want to skip over, right? The ball is going to bypass the bodies, the physical bodies, that it would be the intrusions, the impeding the movement of the game going forward to create a score, right? So in most cases, the idea is the quarterback passes the ball to the next player, and that player to receive, number one, needs to be really clear. There's going to be a line of sight, a clarity and line of sight between the quarterback and the receiver. Is it the receiver, my football people? Did I get that right? The receiver, right? Okay, good.
Yeah.
So the quarterback and the receiver. So when that receiver is going to catch that ball, you have to have some clarity in vision, because that receiver is going to be watching. He may know the gameplay. He may know what the pattern is that's going to be played, right? That's our marketing strategy, our business growth strategy. That's what's the intention. But sometimes in our intention, when we have our vision, clarity in the vision of the game plan, right? Excuse me, it's not the game plan. It's the play. It's the game play plan.
Play. Mm-hmm.
Thank you. I'm mixing it up. The game book is the big one. The
Mm-hmm.
game play plan is the one. Okay. So you need to have clarity in the vision of the play. And then, but you also, so that's the structure, but then we might need to be flexible along the way, right? Because there's all the opportunities of the people getting in the way. So when you are actively receiving, when you declare for yourself that which you actively receive, it is super important to have your game plan first. What's my game plan? So this is where we can get really specific, and it's important we do get very specific with the details that we desire. Now, ladies, I'm going to just invite you. You may be feeling some conflict surface really fast on this one. What I get to declare, what I desire, for some of us, that wasn't part of our upbringing. A lot of people for many generations have stated things like, you want too much, you think too big, you're being selfish. You know, there's so much attached to this, right? So when I'm talking about being specific about what you desire, in a football game, the desire is the quarterback is going to throw to the ball to receiver, the receiver is going to move the ball, and the desired outcome is make a score, get that ball across the goal line, right? That, so we can score points. So let's talk about for a minute, as you're building your brand plan. And I've invited you to really get quiet in there and define and declare, how do you want your brand to show up visually? How do you want to show up visually? How do you want your brand to be spoken about? How do you want to talk about it? What do you want to hear about your brand? I've asked you and I've invited you and I've taught you how to give it really clear on the kind of people you desire to work with. It's your choice. You don't have to work with everybody, right? And then where do you want to go from there? So we talk your desire, like I've led you along the way, and I've invited you to get clear on your desires around your brand. But also along the way, what I'm talking about here is taking it to the next level up. And ladies, this is where a lot of people have conflict, because it taps into our self-worth, our self-value around money, right? You desire money. I desire you to have money. Because here's the thing, money's love. When we have more money, when we receive more business, we get to show up bigger. We get to have our voice be heard. We get to be more visible. We get to love more people and serve more people when we have the capital that it takes. Remember, the exchange of money, that is a representation of how we get to love and serve. It's the physical energy of how people show you gratitude, right? So when you're talking about actively receiving what you desire, I'm giving you some things to be mindful of that might be sabotaging little dust bunnies in the corner, okay? The more money you desire for your business, the more money you desire for yourself. And it's not all about the money. Maybe it's the vacations you want to take. Maybe it's the new home that you'd like to live in. Maybe it's the clothes you'd like to buy. Maybe it is the food you want on the table. Maybe it's some jewelry you want to buy for yourself, or maybe it's the perfume that you'd love to get, or the little purse, right? And so, yes, I'm talking about the physicals right now. That which you desire, your health, desiring health, wholeness, and healing. That is super important. How do you want to show up physically in health? Do you want to be in health? Do you want to live without medication, without pain, without suffering? Do you want to, like, this is the inner work. Because ladies, y'all know my story. And if you don't know my story, look me up online, and then you'll see a lot of it, right? If there is anybody that can stand before you and advocate that your body is amazingly capable of healing itself, I do not care. I am putting a significant stake in the ground for you right now for your health. Without health, you have nothing, right? Or well, that's not true. Without your health, you won't have the vitality of life, okay? My desire is for you to be in joy. I want you to experience true health, true joy, abundance, prosperity. This is all about thriving. So do you desire health without the things that our Western allopathic world says? Because you can have it. Now, if you're living through health issues, it doesn't happen overnight. Your body is telling you, your body health-wise is a revelation of inner things that we can work on. There's a story connected to that, but our bodies are brilliantly strong. And in 7 years' time, you can have a whole new body from the cellular level inside out. There's easy ways to do this. So I'm not going to go down this soapbox. Just know that I'm putting a stake in the ground. You can have it if you desire it, but you must see it in the mind's eye. You must believe it in your heart and feel it in your belly. Because for you to receive that which you want requires clarity in your vision, but it also requires conviction, courage, commitment to take action where needed, to let go of the things that you believe that were not serving you, and then to actively receive the love and support and care that you desire and that you deserve. And so there's power in actively receiving that what you desire. Receiving to catch the football, right? Going back to the football game. Sometimes the receiver has to jump up above obstacles to catch the ball, and everybody cheers. Woohoo! That's awesome, right? The room roars when that happens. That receiver then lands because there's clarity. There's clarity in the vision. Man, I'm jumping up, grab that ball, and I'm running. I'm on the go, right? I've got it, and I'm holding on tight because I've just actively received. Sometimes actively receiving, just like when we're sleeping at nighttime, actively receiving during sleep, our body is repairing and nourishing, and we don't have to do anything. It's just there. We show up and decide, I'm going to bed. This is my bedtime. We honor ourselves so we can actively receive nourishment, replenishment, nutrients, the healing, the rest. All we have to do is show up and allow the body to do what it's supposed to do. So one of the questions that was posed a little earlier when I was sharing, like, I had a significant amount of receiving connections that were just like laid a lot on my table this week. And you know what? In a moment, I did get overwhelmed. I was so overwhelmed with joy. I was humbled. I think the better word is I was humbled first, because I've been so clear on my intention. And I've been taking action, but I'm allowing myself to hold space and create the container to receive. But receiving sometimes also means letting go. Remember, when we're talking about money, like, I'm going to just go back to the money analogy. When you desire your business to grow, one of the contenders for growth in your business is that you need to allow yourself to receive more money, to get paid more often, more frequently from people that love and adore you, right? But if you're holding tight to a whole belief system, I can't, I don't deserve it, I'm ashamed, whatever is showing up over here, this fist is tied tight. You will not be able to receive the money that somebody's trying to pay you. We have to let go to receive. When people show up in your world and say, I want to help support you, I want to align with you, I'd love to help you take care of this task. Sometimes we are such good doers, and part of the action of receiving that which we desire, we might hear ourselves say, like, oh my gosh, I don't like being in the weeds. I don't like doing this technical work, but it seems I don't know how to let go of it. I don't know where to turn. How do I get out of this, right? To receive that solution requires you to let go of the belief of I can't. We've talked about the I can'ts and the I buts, right? Getting rid of the shoulda, woulda, couldas, I can'ts, I buts. So this statement of actively receiving what you desire, it doesn't take long. That's one of the things I want to leave you with. When you are clear with details, who do you want to work with? What do you want for your business? How do you want to manage your business? What role do you want to play in your business as it grows, right? Like, literally, what role, what tasks do you want to do? You don't have to do everything. You shouldn't do everything, but it does require you to make the decision of, what do I want to do? And until you make those decisions on what you want to do within your business, you're going to feel inner conflict showing up, because you're probably trying to do too much, and you might be missing the opportunity to allow other people to serve, love, and support you. So there's a lot in this segment around actively receiving that which you desire. So I want to leave you with this. I invite you to have quiet time. Love on yourself and allow yourself to burble up and bubble up, and really start to envision, what do you desire? How do you answer that question? What do you desire? What do you long for? And this may show up, ladies, in a lot of spaces in your life. It could be relationships with girlfriends. It could be with your family. It can be within business. It could be with your health. It could be with money. It could be with quiet time, downtime. There is no right or wrong. I invite you to have go into flow, write out If you have to draw it out and do art, what do you desire? And if you feel conflict along the way, and conflict will feel like constriction in the belly, it might feel like your breath getting tight. If you feel yourself holding your breath around this activity of declaring that which you desire, and I'm talking, girls, get specific as all get out. Danielle, if you want an apartment with fluff, I'm going to make something up, so go with me. I don't know if this is you or not. So if you want an apartment that has fluffy couches and purple curtains, and you want it to be with the pool and sleek gold and silver amenities with glitter, right? I don't know. I'm just making this up. So I guess I'm speaking something that I'd like to step into. Get really specific and write it out. You must have clarity in the vision of what you want. And then you can hold space and take action for it, okay? So, so I invite you to get real quiet. Allow yourself to go into desire. You may feel that you want to chunk it into different segments, but if you start to feel anxious in the belly, or you start to feel the shoulders rise and you're holding your breath, here's your strategy to step back. I've taught it before. It's called stop, challenge, choose. Just stop in that moment, because just stop the flow, because what you're really allowing yourself to do is create awareness that, wow, this is triggering me, and I have things that I'm allowed to, and I choose to remove that which is causing me anxiety. It's not about the choosing of what you desire. That's not the anxiety. There's the beliefs behind receiving that which you desire that we can clear. Okay? So you could stop and then challenge yourself to do something different. Is it take a breath? Is it maybe literally move it where you're writing? Maybe move and go to a different room, go outside, just literally change the environment if that would work for you. And then choose to let go of the belief. So that, ladies, is what I wanted to leave you with. And of course, I invite you, if you'd love to book a brand strategy session with me, for those of you that are new here today, I'd love to hear that which you desire. Love to share with you more about how we are rocking things within our brand new program. And for ladies that are here today, I'm just going to wrap up